Hey there folks, I am Dr. Grimes, and as I sit here today looking out the window, it is a beautiful spring day, about 3 weeks or so before spring semester 19 ends, and I am already working on your organizational theory and behavior class for summer. I'm trying to get way ahead of the curve, so a couple of months ahead of the point in time where you're actually watching this video, I'm actually recording it. This video is not intended to be very long. I wanted to really go over some things that are going to hopefully make it very easy for you during spring semester or summer semester to get this course done. I'm trying it in a way that I've never tried a class before, and as I proposed it to some of our folks who work on the admin side of things, they weren't real sure either if we could make it work the way that I want to do it, because to my knowledge, nobody in the School of Business has tried this with a class like this before. Although I think Ms. Perry is trying the same concept with her microcomputer applications class this summer. The short version of this, what makes it different, is that in the summer I've always designed classes to where there were certain things you had to do on certain days and the entire class moved at the same pace. What I'm hoping to be able to do this summer semester for this particular class is to set it up in a way that you can work at your own pace within reason. There certainly are some drop-dead deadlines that you've got to have certain things done by this date or you're not going to finish on time. And one of the dangers of letting folks work at their own pace is that some folks are going to take advantage of it and they're going to put it off and they're going to try to do the entire class the last week, which puts a lot of burden on me to try to get things graded because you've played. But a lot of folks want to be able to get things done, get things out of the way, and if you open up a class to work at your own pace, they're going to get a lot of stuff done early on in the semester with the goal of maybe being done by midterm and having the last month of the semester to focus on another class they're doing, or if this is the only class they're taking, just to have half the summer off. But there are those that can't really work ahead that much. So there'll be, I assume, as I try to keep up with the grading of this, there'll be different people at different stages. There'll be some folks that have done the entire first unit in the first few days. There'll be others that are going pretty much according to schedule, maybe a little bit ahead of pace, and there'll be those that are going on pace. So let me kind of talk about what this class involves. There'll be a separate video that I'm going to record in a few days, I guess, where I talk through the syllabus to make sure you understand what it is that I'm expecting of you and to give you a pretty good understanding of what's on your plate, so to speak, for the summer semester. But for this one, again, here's the basic structure. In this class, we are using an online textbook that has 15 chapters, and we're not doing chapter 8, which is about communication, because business communications goes really in depth on that one chapter. So we're going to touch on a little bit of chapter 1. We're going to do chapters 2 through 7 and 9 through 15. Among those chapters, those 13 and a half chapters that we're going to do, I've broken it up into pieces. The online textbook has each of the chapter in several different segments. And sometimes we'll take one segment, sometimes we'll take two. In one case, we're going to take 3 segments. But the flow of the class is going to be that you read a segment and you take a 10-question quiz. And then there may be some assignments related to that. But as soon as you take the quiz, the next segment will open. And it'll have the online stuff that you read, it'll have PowerPoints that go with it, and it'll have a quiz. So you read through the first segment, you look at the PowerPoint, you take the quiz, and then you've got access to the second segment, the online material, the PowerPoint, the quiz. And once you take that quiz, you have access immediately to the next segment, the online reading, the PowerPoint, the quiz, so forth. So realistically, if you set aside a day, you could go through 5 or 6 of these little blocks in a single day, whereas some of your classmates will do 1 block per day, and you would theoretically then be several days to a week ahead of them. Now, what's important to understand about that is that the first exam will not open until you have taken quiz number 4. And you can't take quiz 4 until you've taken quiz 3, and you can't take quiz 3 until you take quiz. In fact, when you look out in our Go view here, you won't even see that quizzes 2 through 4 probably exist. You'll only see that quiz 1 exists. But as you do those quizzes, again, the next one in the sequence opens. There is a absolute hard deadline on exam 1 of June the 17th. If it gets to be June the 17th and you haven't done all that prior work and therefore not had access to the exam, it's a 0 for the exam. No questions asked, no excuses, no pleading. You know ahead of time you got to get through this work to take this exam, and the exam closes forever and ever on June the 17th. If you get to that point and you haven't taken the quiz, everything up until that exam becomes a 0 that you haven't done, and I'll open up whatever starts after that exam for you so that you could pick up with Unit 2, but you will have gotten 0s for all of Unit 1. And at that point, you may think about withdrawing. But I'm going to encourage you, again, the structure of the class, there are actually 25 quizzes. And without getting too much into the syllabus, which again is a different videotape lecture altogether, each one of those quizzes is 10 questions. In most of those quizzes, it's not really even 10 questions. It's like 7 questions and some put D for this one, or mark true is the answer to this one. So it's basic material from the material that you're reading, but 10 questions in all. 25 quizzes, each worth 10 points. There are 4 exams worth 100 points. There are 4 blocks of assessments with certain material in the course. After you've read it and taken the quiz, I'll ask you to do a self-assessment. You'll have opening up, along with the material, the PowerPoint, and the quiz, all of the files that you need to do these assessments. Sometimes there's 1, sometimes there's none. The worst case is there's like 3 for a particular block of reading. And you'll open up a Word document. It'll have a series of statements that you'll rate as you think about yourself from a scale of 1 to 5. Strongly disagree, strongly agree. After you've scored all of those things, you will have some instructions on how to calculate the overall score, and it'll tell you that you scored a 26, and then it'll have something that says if you were in the 22 to 27 range, you rank in the moderate, and this is what that means. And you'll do those things, and you'll probably print it out, circle the numbers, add them all up, get the total, put it off to the side. And then at a particular point in time, you will have compiled 4 of these or 8 of these or something, and I'll ask you to prepare a little document where you think about some of those results and write it up. Those things don't have to be turned in until the end of the semester, but it'll work to your advantage if you go ahead and do them and get them out of the way as you're doing the exam while the material is still fresh in your mind. So there's 4 of those. There are also 5 what I call concept activities. It's a major idea from one of the chapters that ties into one of the learning objectives for the course, where you've read the material and then a drop box opens where it's got some instructions, and you'll have to prepare a little page or 2 analysis of what you think the right answer is, and you'll submit that. Those, like the assessment recaps, are not due until the end of the semester, but again, if you'll do them when they come open before you get into new material, get them out of the way, get them off of your to-do list, it'll work out best. None of this happens until you have gone in and posted something to the Hello discussion board and you've completed the check-in quiz. So after having looked at this video, I'm going to encourage you to open the syllabus, read through it, print it out, and then take the syllabus quiz. And as soon as you get done with that, post something to the Hello discussion board. Once you've done those 2 things, all of the material for the first segment of Unit 1 will open for you. And then just kind of work through that stuff as quickly as you can. One thing I neglected to mention is that each of those quizzes that's worth 10 points has a 20-minute time limit, and you have access to your online materials. There really is no good reason why you don't get a 10 out of 10 on every single one of those quizzes. But again, the main point of this video is to let you know that it's designed in such a way that you can work quickly through the material. You might be ready to take exam 1 2 days from now. The only thing to consider as you're doing your exams is that you've bought a block of 3 access codes for ProctorU, and that's a 3-day window. Generally, if you give them at least 1 day's notice, so I'm going to take it at this time tomorrow, there'll be a small out-of-pocket convenience fee for not giving them a lot of notice, but it's like $3.75 or something. If you want to take that exam today and you don't give them at least 24 hours notice, it's like an $8 and something convenience fee. If you can give them a 3-day notice, there's no fee to you at all other than what you've already paid for the access codes. So you might be looking ahead. You kind of have an idea from the syllabus once you read it of where the exams are. It's after lesson 4, it's after lesson 11, whatever the case may be. So when you get to be a couple of lessons away, maybe you go ahead and make your appointment for the exam, even though you're not ready to take it yet, with the belief that you're going to be ready at that time that you've set, and then you don't have to spend the money for the convenience fees. That's kind of convoluted. It might make more sense as you get there. If you're willing to spend $3.75 out of pocket when it comes time to take an exam, you can get to the point where the exam is available. You can go ahead and make your appointment for this time tomorrow or a little bit later, and then it's $3.75 and you can take the test and you're right back on pace. But again, if you want to work according to a normal structured schedule, I've suggested what that schedule is, but I'm giving you the opportunity to work ahead. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes the summer a little bit easier, a little bit more enjoyable for you. And I'm looking forward to looking at your work this semester and as you learn about yourself and about organizations. Let me know if you've got any questions. Bye for now.